I'm 32, I have a toddler, and most days I barely get a second to myself. But I've decided I'm going to try and become a successful artist anyway. My days don't look like what you'd expect of someone following their passion. They look like this: cleaning, tidying, and taking care of an energetic mini-human. By the end of the day, I'm usually exhausted. Being her mum is everything to me, and I also want to grow something for myself alongside it. I keep wondering, what if I utilise the small moments in the day I do have? Not hours of time or perfect conditions, but whatever I can manage. Some days that could be 20 minutes. Others, nothing at all. And most nights I pick up the paintbrush before bed when I have very little left to give. But I'm starting to realise it isn't always about having lots of time, it's just about showing up anyway. I don't know how this will work, but I'm going to try to build an art career from scratch, in the middle of mum life, and I'm going to document all of it. So I haven't really had much time yet to do a lot of art. We did have quite a difficult night last night. My daughter woke up at 3:30 in the morning. We were up until 7 in the morning, and then we fell asleep until about 10:30. And then it was breakfast, and I got a little bit of art done, but as you'll see in the clip that I've posted or will post, all she wanted to do was sit on my lap, so it's really hard to get anything done in that sort of sense. She is going through a phase where she doesn't even want to play by herself, and I don't have anyone around in the day. Now occasionally we do have a family member that will come over and look after her if we ask, which is really nice, but it's not a sort of situation that I would take advantage of and ask every day. She doesn't go to nursery, so stay at home mum is very much like a full-time thing. Well, obviously being a parent is full-time. We need to get out for some fresh air and go for walks. We haven't been outside today. Not only is that important for me, like for my mental health, for my cognitive function, especially when I'm sitting down and concentrating on art, but it's also important for my daughter, obviously, to get fresh air. And the weather is nice. I don't want to jinx it, but yeah, we're gonna get out. I used to love doing art when I was a child. I would spend every waking minute drawing, and then I did it at school and I honestly completely lost my passion for it. I think ultimately it was the deadlines that put me off it, but I also felt that the teachers were very critical of your art if you didn't paint a certain way, and perhaps they didn't realise what they were doing, but it did make me lose a lot of confidence in my own abilities. And it wasn't until I'd left my job to stay at home with my daughter that I started to rediscover my love for art. It started off with having a curiosity for watercolour, and so I bought myself a kit, not the one that I'm using at the moment, and I was just kind of doing some random doodles, and it just all sort of developed from there. So as you can see here, I was trying to take pictures of my paintings to turn them into prints. I honestly found that actually really difficult, just to get the lighting right. I experimented with both my iPhone camera and also my DSLR camera. And as you can see here, the results were quite different. So it has been a few days now, and there are a few things that I've learned. The first thing is that it's really important to set goals, and I mean smaller goals, not larger ones. The larger ones are just going to stress you, overwhelm you, and ultimately burn you out, whereas the smaller ones feel more attainable and are going to be so much easier in the beginning to reach. For example, for myself, obviously I'm a busy mum, so I don't have loads of time to be painting. So for me, a realistic goal is to complete a watercolour painting that I'm working on by the end of the week, as opposed to starting and finishing 2 new paintings. Of course, you should aim for the larger goals, but I think in the beginning, when you're just starting out, it is so much better to go for the more realistic ones, hit targets that you know are achievable and that are going to really motivate you to carry on striving for more and practicing and really developing the skill. Number 2 is staying consistent. I know in the past when I have gotten myself into something, writing for example, and I'm so consistent and so motivated, and then I'll have a day where I don't do it, and then I'm thinking, it's okay, I'll do it again tomorrow. And lo and behold, tomorrow comes and I don't do it, and then I just fall out of the pattern of doing it. Doing something new every single day and continuing to do it day by day is gonna set new habits for you. I am no scientist, but what I have read is that when you create new habits for yourself, you create new neural pathways in your brain. And if you want to know more on that, you're gonna have to look it up. But it's all very interesting stuff, very important stuff as well. But staying consistent and just showing up for yourself every single day is so important. I know that if I really want to make something of myself as an artist, develop my skills, practice, become better, I'm gonna have to be consistent. I also want to be that person that is consistent and very on the ball, and the only way that that's gonna happen is if I just do it. Okay, so the next thing is to not fret about getting so much done. I think it's very easy to see a lot of people on social media creating all this art and taking you through like a time lapse of them doing this whole huge canvas, and then you're sat there thinking, oh my goodness, I can't even get a fraction of that done in a week. I think it's really important to remember that oftentimes people aren't doing that in one sitting, it's all edited. And also it's just way more important to show up than to get loads done. I have some days sometimes where I can't pick up the paintbrush at all, you know, it's just been that chaotic in the day. And that's okay. And I know I spoke about being consistent before, but what I mean is that's okay, but just make sure that you show up the next day if you can. Or even if you get 2 minutes to just sit down at the table and do a really quick 2-minute sketch. You're exercising your brain, you're putting it into practice, you're just showing up. Growth can be slow, and that's normal. Obviously, I'm at the very beginning of my art journey and I am still yet to create my Instagram and TikTok account. I'm not naive to the fact that I'm not going to have a massive following straight away. These things rarely happen for people overnight. I'm not just talking about social media following, I'm talking about success in their business, you know, anything like that. I was doing UGC at one point on TikTok, and I remember comparing myself to everybody who was growing so much faster than me and thinking, what am I doing wrong? It's a really unhealthy way of thinking, and everyone's journey is different, and just because someone is growing faster than you doesn't mean that they're any better than you or that you're any better than them. The most important thing is it is actually something that I enjoy doing and that makes me happy, and I think if I have that, the determination and the drive, then the growth will come in time. So another thing that I experienced is imposter syndrome. I have a painting that I did and I was so proud of it when I did it. And even now I look at it sometimes and I'm like, okay, I've done the first so well on that. But I spent quite a bit of time taking photographs of my paintings to upload them, to turn them into prints. And I was looking at this one for ages thinking, oh, it's really, I don't know if it's good enough. I don't think anyone's gonna buy it. Imposter syndrome is completely normal. Doesn't mean it's very nice when you're going through it, and I still feel like that now. Something that has helped me is reading online that a lot of people hate their art, and I have looked at their art and I think it's absolutely amazing. So I'm not saying mine is amazing, but I'm just saying that it's normal to kind of feel that you're not good enough, especially when you're starting out in a new area. I think especially when you're selling your work, you know, you have to kind of, are you pricing it right? Are people going to think, oh, that's priced way too high for what it is? And you know, people are going to have this in their homes, potentially on their wall for loads of people to see. So yeah, it's all about being overcritical, I think. And that's definitely something that I think is going to be quite hard for me to stamp out. And then finally, just don't give up. I think it's so easy to give up. There are a lot of things that I've started in the past that I have really enjoyed doing for a while and I've just given up because the stress has just gotten too great for me. With this, I'm taking it slow and steady and I genuinely enjoy it. I just think art just brings so much beauty to the world. I love how everyone's art is so different. Everyone's technique is so different. There are going to be days where you hate your art, like I was just saying before, and there are going to be days where you don't get any sales, probably maybe weeks or months where you don't get sales, or people don't follow you on social media and you feel like nobody cares, but don't give up. But the most successful people don't give up. They learn from their mistakes.
I know this all won't happen overnight, especially when motherhood comes first, and motherhood will always be my first priority. Nevertheless, I'm so excited to see what this journey holds. Drop a comment down below if you're also looking to start a new passion, and if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and click subscribe for similar content. See you in the next one.